Hello and welcome back, travelers. This episode of our No Man's Sky Let's Play is dedicated to save scumming, specifically save scumming for upgrades for our Multitool, our Exosuit, our Starship, etc. There is sort of internal process that the game goes through when you're opening up your upgrades. And so I've spent the better part of the last couple of days really digging into it and identifying how it works. This is sort of the stuff that I really like when it comes to making videos about video games. I'm trying something new and experimental with the Let's Play series, but really, if you look at my old Monster Hunter content, some of my favorite and most popular videos are the result of looking at a game mechanic that exists, identifying exactly how, or to some degree of how it works, and sort of breaking it down so that players like you and I can perhaps manipulate it, or at the very least game the system to make it easier or more convenient for us, the player. So when it comes to No Man's Sky, and when it comes to any game in general, really, I am a proponent of playing the game however you find it most enjoyable, assuming that, it's a single-player game, you're not messing with someone else's experience playing the game. So for me, looking at how I can best optimize getting upgrades is something that I take pleasure in. If you are the kind of player that enjoys the randomness, you'll just open them as you get them, and if you get something good, great, and if you don't, you'll keep hunting. That is fully your prerogative. I happily endorse anyone who is just having fun playing the game. In this case, for me, that involves save scumming for upgrades. As we can see here, I've got some pretty good upgrades. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. But they're better than most of them that are X rank are better than S rank. Most of them that are S rank are towards the upper echelon of what they could possibly be, like this photon cannon right here. But I do enjoy sort of figuring out in my play how best to optimize what it is that I'm doing. So this episode is going to be dedicated to that process. I'm going to go through. I want to tackle a couple of things. First, if this is something that you want to try and you want to do, I'm hoping that you can understand the exact process of what's going on. And so I'm going to use terms. I'm going to talk about positions. I'm going to talk about tables. And so the first thing I want to do is kind of cover those topics, what exactly I mean by it, and hopefully once you have an understanding of that, the rest of this episode, the rest of this process will become fairly straightforward for you. The second thing I want to do is I actually want to explain what it is that I'm doing, what it is that's happening, so that you have a better understanding of what's going on. And I'm also hoping that I do this in such a way that you can, if you want, watch this video alongside your own gameplay, pause it where you need to, gather some stuff up, and then we can run through stuff together so that hopefully you too can maximize and optimize and make it so that you're not being wasteful with your nanites, with your upgrades. And then lastly, I want to talk about specifically, I'm going to refer to them as exploits. It doesn't quite fit in exactly with our conversation, but realistically, what I'm doing is referred to generally in gaming as save scumming, where I'm going to be saving the game and then repeatedly doing things without saving my game so that I can sort of identify certain elements about the game and take advantage of that identification. There are also some exploits that I am aware of that can also sort of, I don't want to say trivialize this process, but it is something that I guess I feel doesn't really belong in the normal Let's Play series, and so instead I figured I would include it in here. So, with that out of the way, if this is something that you enjoy, please give me a like on the video, and I'll say it probably a couple of times throughout the video. If at any point you are confused, if you are watching this and trying to replicate what I'm doing and you're confused about it, and watching the video isn't helping you to identify where the issue is, please leave a comment on the video so that I or another viewer can assist you with this process. Alright, so that was a decent preamble, but I believe it necessary. What we are going to do now is we are going to discuss the concept of the table and positioning. Now, again, this as of right now may not make sense to you unless you've played a game like Monster Hunter that has similar concepts. This one, there is a little bit of variance to it, but I'm hoping to explain it succinctly and clearly. First things first, as you can see, I've got a bunch of different upgrades. These ones are still closed. We don't know what's behind them. They're a shut door with a prize behind it, and the game show host hasn't opened it yet to reveal what we've won. These ones down here are ones that we've already seen. We've opened the door, we know what exists behind it. These stats, these numbers, are not locked to the actual modules themselves. They are instead locked to the position on the table when the module was opened. So now, what do I mean by that? I'm going to go ahead and grab 10 of these. These are hazard protection modules. I like these. They're very clear cut. Very easy to understand with the stats on them. Some of these have stats that can vary wildly depending on how good or how poorly you happen to get lucky on your table, I guess is how I should word it. I'm also going to grab these. These are just some shield modules or the Exosuit. Now, before we open anything, before I even continue with this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and make a manual save of my game. Once you really understand this and you get into doing it, make sure that you make the manual save and do not, under any circumstances, override it until you are sure you want to. So for example, if I start opening stuff and pirates attack and I jump in my ship and I shoot them out of the sky and then I land and I hop out, I've now screwed everything up because it makes a save when you step out of your ship. It makes a save when you use a save beacon. There's probably other circumstances in which your game will manually save. So whatever it is that you do, don't manually save until you are done with this process. So, when I'm talking about the table is not something you can see. The table is essentially just a concept where you have, I'm just going to call them rows. You've got rows after rows after rows infinitely that's based on the seed of your particular save file. Again, it's very sort of abstract. So let's give some actual definition. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up one of these modules, the hazard protection module. Now, a perfect hazard protection module should look like this. You should have 10% protection or resistance in each one of the 4 different environmental hazards: toxic, heat, cold, and radiation. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. As we can see, this one has 9 in heat, 2 in radiation, 10 in toxic, 2 in cold. This one isn't terrible by any means, but it's certainly not good. It's like 50% good. So we're going to put that one off to the side. Let's open up a second one. This one has 3 heat, 4 cold, 2 rad, 2 toxic. This one's even worse. Let's open up a third one. This one is 7 rad, 3 cold, 2 heat, 2 tox. All of these so far have been bad. But what I would like to do is I would like to pay attention to this one specifically. This is the third one that we've opened. The first one is here, second one is here, third one is here. The third one has 7 rad, 3 cold, 2 heat, 2 toxic. What we have done by opening these up is we have progressed the table forward by 3 spaces. This is position 1, this is position 2, this is position 3. So now, what we're going to do is I'm going to reload my save. By reloading the save, we're returning to a point in the game before we had opened anything. So the table is starting back at 0. We haven't opened any modules yet, but now we're going to again. So we are going to go ahead and open a hazard protection. As you can see, it's the 9-10-2-2. This is the exact same as we had before. This is to be expected. Prior to reloading the save, this was what was in position 1 for this upgrade. Now, instead of opening a second hazard protection, let's try opening up one of these shields. We open up this shield, and we have 18 shield strength, 33 core health. That's not very good for this module, so we're going to go ahead and put that one down here as well. Let's go back to the suspicious hazard protection module. Let's open this up. And now look, it's 7322. This was the third one that we had opened before, but before we had opened 3 of these. This time we've only opened 2, number 1 and number 3. Second thing we opened was actually the suspicious shield module. So what this indicates is the stats that are on this module are not specific to this module, it's specific to the position on the table. This was the third thing we opened before, and this is the third thing we've opened now. As a result, this is the same. What we can do then is we can sort of manipulate the game, because if the stats aren't tied to the module and the stats are instead tied to the table, I don't have to open 3x modules to get to this one. Instead, I could open up 2 trash modules, like a C-class module, any C-class module, open another C-class module, and then when I select the X-class module, it will be a good one. So let's show that. We are going to reload the restore point again. So now we are back at our default position, position 0, nothing has been opened. And now I'm going to open the suspicious hazard protection modules until I get a good one. So we already know that number 1 is decent, but not that good. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 was also pretty poor. Number 3, we already know, not very good. Number 4, okay, this one's better. 2 7s, an 8, and a 4. Let's look at number 5. Okay, number 5 is really close to perfect. We can see we've got 10s in heat, toxic, and radiation, but only a 9 in cold resistance. However, that's just 1 percentage point away from being a perfect hazard protection upgrade. Now again, it's not tied to this specific one. It's not tied to the 5th hazard protection module. It's tied to the 5th position. We reload the restore point again. So, if I'm doing everything correctly, what this means is I should be able to take any other module. These ones are really cheap. You can get them from salvaged glass from wiping out sentinels. I'm going to open up 4 of them. That's 1. Not even going to look at them. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. We have progressed the table forward by 4 steps. We are on position number 5, which means if we open up a hazard protection, pop it down in, we should expect to see 3 10s and a 9. And right here we have 3 10s and a 9. So, I hope conceptually that this makes sense. What this means is all of these modules that I have, I've got 9 of these. I can't use 9 of them. You can only use 3 of the same type of module, or your Starship, your Multitool, your Exosuit, what have you. But I still have 9 of them. All I need is 1 of them. And if I've got a bunch of another kind, like these Sentinel Exosuit fragments, for example, I can progress my table forward and identify when I'm going to have a good position. Then all I need to do is get up to that point, and when I do, I save my game and I open up as many other ones as I want to check. So let's actually do that right now. I'm going to reload my save again. So now we've identified position number 5 as being the one that gives us an almost perfect upgrade specifically for hazard protection. But what if we didn't open hazard protection in the 5th slot? I'm going to go ahead and grab 10 of those. I only need 4. There's my hazard protection. There's my shield. Let's grab photon. Let's do a jetpack. So now what I'm going to do is position 5 is where the good roll exists. Let's get to position 5. We go 1, we go 2, we go 3, we go 4. We are now at position 5. So we know if I open this hazard protection, it's 3 10s and a 9. Well, what about if I open this shield module? Let's open that up instead. Okay, that's a shield strength of 32. That's better than an S-Class. S maxes out at 30%. This one goes up to, I believe it's 34%. Yeah, right here. I've got one that's maxed out at 34. This one's only 32. So again, it's not perfect, but we know that it's not perfect from the hazard protection. The hazard protection was 3 10s and a 9. Perfect would be 4 10s. This is still really good, though. For me personally, I've got this shield right here that was 31%. This could replace that one. However, there's a couple other modules that I want to check. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload the save. Again, I need to advance the table forward by 4 positions. And then we're going to try another one. Let's go 1. Oh, I forgot to pick them up. 2. Doesn't matter. 3, 4. Okay, we've advanced the table by 4. Let's try the photon cannon. Actually, in order to do that, I think I need to take something off of my ship because it's currently maxed out. Let's put the photon cannon down. Photon cannon. This is a perfect photon cannon. 9% damage, 3% fire rate, 4% heat dispersion. This could replace this one. An 833 gets replaced by a 943. This, I believe, is maxed out for an S-Class. This one I know is maxed out for an X-Class. So this is another one that's really, really good. Let's go ahead and reload again. This time I'm going to remember to get my modules up front. Let's grab those. And I said we would do a jetpack. So let's try a jetpack. Okay, first things first, I have to progress the table forward by 4. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. Let's try the jetpack now. Okay, jetpack tanks, 220. I believe the max is 240 for an X-Class, so that's really good. Initial boost power 19. I believe initial boost power maxes out at 20. Let me look at this one. I think this one I've got it maxed out. Yeah, so it's 20. So 19%, that's really good. Personally, I don't like the sprint recovery time or sprint distance, but for the purposes of this, I believe they both do max out at 60. So those are also both really good. So as you can see, it doesn't matter what we open. It's position number 5 that holds the power. We need to get to position 5, and then whatever we open up is almost guaranteed to be good. Perhaps perfect in some cases, like the photon cannon, but the photon cannon has less variability. The photon cannon only has between 1 and 9 damage, between 1 and 4 heat diffusion, and between 1 and 3 fire rate, whereas this jetpack has between 100% and 240% for the jetpack tanks. It has between 1% and 20% for boost power, etc. So some modules, when you open them, they may be perfect. Other ones, they may just be really good, and like the hazard protection, a 10-10-10-9 is really, really good. This one, because of the amount of variance you have, it might not be as good, but this is still better than just about anything you could randomly get. I don't have another jetpack on me. Let's open up just another jetpack and see what it looks like. This is another jetpack. This is 102, 5% boost, sprint recovery time 23, sprint distance 37. This one is garbage compared to this one. So even though this one's not perfect, because it's in the 5th position for us, that's what it currently is, position number 5, because we opened it when we knew we were going to get a good roll, this turned out better than it otherwise potentially would have been if we had opened it, say, in the 6th position. So that is the principal concept of save scumming or upgrades. Now, there is a technique that I learned about after the fact. I actually made an entire video dedicated to this already, only to find an additional technique that saves you even more headache. Prior to picking an upgrade, I explained how we had to progress the table, and I showed you opening up a module and then placing it down, identifying what was on it, moving it out of the way. We identified the 5th position was the one that had the most valuable upgrade. And so what we would do is we kept opening 4 modules, opening 4 modules, and then checking the 5th. Open 4, check the 5th, reload the save. We don't have to actually do that. The way that the game works, the table isn't progressed when we open a module and place it down. The table is progressed anytime anything gets put down in the technology slots. So, before, I would open up 5 of these, and the 5th one was really good. Then I showed how we can open up 5 of anything, or 4 of anything, and then we open up this one in the 5th position, and it's really good. Now I'm going to show you the technique that had been bugging me for a couple of days as I was attempting to do my other process, which involved a lot of counting. I kept getting one number off on various areas, and there's a reason for it. Again, I thought opening the module is what caused the table to move forward, and that is not the case. Placing something in a technology slot moves the table forward, and that includes things that are already in your technology slots. I'm going to remove this, put it in my inventory, and then I'm going to put it back in. The simple act of putting this back in has moved the table forward by 1. Let's do it again. 2, 3, 4. We've now moved the table forward 4 times. And I know we've moved it forward 4 times because if I open this, it should give me a 10-10-10-9 hazard protection module. And just like that, a 10-10-10-9 hazard protection module. What this ultimately means is you don't need sacrificial modules to progress your table forward, so long as you have something in anything, your Exosuit, your Starship, or your Multitool. If you have something that you can take out and put back into your inventory, you can progress the table forward. Let's showcase this again. Okay, so I've reloaded the game back to a state before we opened anything. Let's go ahead and let's pop this out. Put it back in. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. That's number 5. And just like that, 10-10-10-9. So I did this using a Starship module. It will work if you use a Multitool module. It works even if the item itself, the technology itself, doesn't have stats. This is the teleport receiver, one of the very first technologies you get for your starships. This does not roll randomly. This is always the exact same thing. It's a mechanic, not stat-based. So you can use these, pop these out, put them back in, progress the table. That's the trick. It's so bizarre that the system actually works this way that I never thought to do it until I was making that other video, went back to edit it, and actually saw what it was I had done that caused my table to weirdly move forward by 1 when it shouldn't have. It wasn't that the game wasn't working right, it's that I wasn't interpreting how the system actually works. Whenever you place a technology in a slot, even if it's one you have taken out and then put back in, anytime you place something, it moves the table forward by 1. So, what you can do now is identify the positions on the table of yours that are really good. We already know position number 5 is really good for me. I'm probably actually going to use it on the photon cannon, and then I'll have 3 X-class photon cannons. So let's go ahead and we're gonna actually solidify this one. We are going to complete the process. We took the time to identify that position number 5 was the best one. I'm going to go ahead and remove this one, and it's safe to remove them. Removing doesn't progress the table, it's only placing that moves the table forward. So I've gone ahead and removed one. That doesn't change anything. I'm going to go ahead and remove another one. That doesn't change anything. But as soon as I put one back, now we are on that counted as position 1. There's position 2. That's position 3. That's position 4. And here's position 5. And as you can see, we've got a 943, which is perfect. I now have the best modules you can possibly get for your photon cannon, at least these ones that you can randomly roll. So now that I've done that, if I save the game, I can't take it back. We are now done, and the table, quote unquote, for our purposes, has reset. Which means that now we need to identify when the next position is that's going to be really, really valuable. So I've got these 10 hazard protection modules. That's not a ton. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab 20 of these sentinel modules. Let's identify the next position that's really good. These ones are a little bit trickier because the stats vary wildly, but what we will do is we will double verify with the hazard protection. So right here, this one doesn't look terrible. Life support tanks 99, core health 33, fuel at 9, sprint distance 56. So maybe position 2 is really good. 1, 2. Let's go ahead and reload the restore point. Okay, so now the way that we can double check this is let's just check with the hazard protection units. So this one's poor. This one is a perfect. It's a 10, 10, 10, 10. So position number 2 on our table now is really good. But even though I only burned one of these in order to get the 10, 10, 10, 10, I don't want to burn one of those. There's a much easier method. It's what we discussed. Pulling something out of and subsequently placing it back into a technology slot moves the table forward by 1. So all I have to do, let's just pop this little guy out and pop him back in. Table's been moved forward. Grab the hazard protection. 10, 10, 10, 10. Perfect. I can even see now if it's one of the really good ones. Ooh, 2 of them rolled 38. That's even better than the one that I had previously. This was also a 10, 10, 10, 10, but it was 138 instead of, yeah, the only 38 that I had was radiation resistance, whereas now with this one, it's 2 of them are 38. So, as you can see right there, I really hope I'm not belaboring the point. Once it makes sense, it's incredibly easy. If you can just instinctively understand the concept of tables and positions, that's all you have to really do, is you identify the position, you then prepare yourself with whatever mods you want to test to see how good they are when rolled in that position, and then you go from there. It's fairly straightforward. It's just making sure that you understand those fundamentals. That's where it can be tricky. So that really was the bulk of the episode, was just going over that concept. Now, the second thing that I wanted to talk about is an exploit. This doesn't have anything to do specifically with upgrades, but it is something that I discovered, and as a result, or I guess I shouldn't say discovered, I inadvertently read about it online on I believe it was a Reddit post that talked about item duplication. And that is, again, it falls under the same sort of category of, if you enjoy playing your game that way, then this is something that you may be interested in. Me personally, I enjoy the grind of No Man's Sky. I enjoy running around finding stuff. I made all this money by digging up Corvette parts and selling them. And now I've got enough that at this point in the game I've started saving the Corvette parts, and maybe I'll sell them in the future if I really don't get into Corvette building, or maybe I'll make 50 Corvettes. I probably can't even have 50 Corvettes. But suffice it to say, there is a way to max out your money. There is a way to max out your nanites through item duplication. And if that's something that interests you, then this is going to educate you on exactly how you can do that. First things first, just for proof of concept, we need an item that we are going to be duplicating. So I'm going to go ahead, and you can't duplicate these outright, because ultimately the duplication glitch relies on having portable refiners. And so it's only items that you can place into a portable refiner. So as you can see here, it's accessing both my own inventory as well as my ship's inventory, as well as the inventory for the base, as we had the glass in the base inventory. Let's go ahead and do this. I don't even know. Yeah, you can't even get anything from putting this into a refiner. So that's helpful. But the process is fairly straightforward. I'm going to go in here since it's nighttime outside. What we're going to do is we need to have, at minimum, 2 personal refiners on us. So I'm going to go ahead and use 2 metal plating. What you're going to do is you're going to go into your menu, your build menu, and you're going to make a portable refiner. Plop it down anywhere, doesn't matter where. Then access the menu for your portable refiner, and make sure to deposit the item that you want to duplicate. So in this case, the ossified star is going to go in there. Okay, perfect. Now, this does not run. This does not need to run. It just needs to sit there. What you're going to do is go back into your build menu. You're going to make another portable refiner. Now, what you want to do is you want to put it down so that it pretty much completely overlaps the first one. Doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be close enough. So you can see I actually got that one really good. You might be able to just barely tell that they're not 1 unit, it's actually 2 units. But once you've done that, now all you have to do is pick up your refiners. So I'm going to hold the button, pick up, pick up. I've picked up both of them, and as you can see, my thing says up in the corner, I now have 2 ossified stars. So this is item duplication in a nutshell. Anything that can fit into the portable refiner. Anything that you can put in here. Repair kits, wiring looms, batteries, rare metals, antimatter. Apparently another portable refiner, if for whatever reason you felt like wanting to duplicate portable refiners. Ammunition. And then items like this, runaway mold. I could duplicate this. Runaway mold can be smelted, can be refined into nanites. So I could just duplicate this and essentially get infinite nanites for doing it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you sort of like the extreme. I've got 2 ossified stars on me right now, but I can go ahead and I can make, I'm going to make 10. I'm going to make 10 more of these metal plates. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the portable refiner. I'm going to stick the ossified star in there. And then remember, you got to place these as close as possible, But now if you're like me on PC, playing mouse and keyboard, if I just don't move my mouse, it remembers the last position that you put something down. So I'm just going to keep putting down all these portable refiners. Okay, I have now run out of portable refiners. And as you can see, I shifted a little bit. I was sliding just a smidge so they're not perfectly lined up. And guess what? It doesn't matter. Just like that, I'm now sitting on 24 of these ossified stars. So this method can be used to duplicate many things. It can be used to duplicate anything that can fit into a portable refiner. Obviously, anything can go in your personal refiner because you can just drag and drop it, but that is not how it works with the portable refiners. Once you place one down, you have to access the menu to be able to put something into it, but some items just won't go in. Like, for example, upgrade modules. Those you have to buy yourself. But hey, if you want nanites, you can put this in here, duplicate it, refine it, etc. So again, it doesn't really fit the theme necessarily of what I wanted to go for in this episode, but there's been a number of ways that you can save Scum the game. Like, I would do it to try and get an exotic ship. You go to a trading post, you wait for ships to land. If none of them are what you want, save your game, reload the save, and a whole new batch of ships will show up. You can repeat that process until eventually an exotic ship shows up. You can do this with multi-tools. That's a little bit higher end, and I haven't done it yet. Maybe in the future I'll make a whole episode to do that, but realistically, conceptually, it's kind of like the upgrades, where the actual multi-tool case that you can see will show up to one real quick. Let me go to a base here. So this is a multi-tool case. Right now it's got the Poem of Storms in it, and it's a B class. This case, the case itself, is what controls the class. So it's not that this multi-tool is a class B, it's that this case is a class B, and this happens to be the multi-tool inside of it. And so what we can do is we can re-roll the multi-tool inside by just changing where our save point is. I believe the last manual save point we had was back on the planet. So if I were to create a save point here, let's see, is this still the same one? No, this one's now called the Harbinger of Peace. This process, again, it's a little bit over my head yet. I think I understand conceptually how it works, but I haven't actually tried using it myself. But the point is that in No Man's Sky, there are dozens of different exploits, little save scummy methods that you can use to sort of fudge the numbers, as it were, in your favor. And so even though the duplication glitch using the portable refiners is a sort of very potent one, I'm part of the team that believes that you should be allowed to play the game however you see fit. So the item duplication glitch is something that I won't explicitly use without stating as such, but I wanted players and viewers like you to know that it does exist, and if that's something that interests you, then that's something that you can take advantage of. So, actually, I don't even think I had two of these. I think I only had one. So let's go ahead and wipe out all but one. Okay, so that is essentially the content for the entire episode. If you have any questions about the process with either the duplication glitch or more likely the actual positioning and table of identifying the best upgrades, please leave me a comment so that I can assist you any way possible. If you liked the kind of content that was in this video, leave a like on it. Let me know if you want me to do a whole episode dedicated to identifying multi-tools and trying to find S-class ones and how exactly you go about that. Again, I've never done it myself, but I'm more than happy to learn, especially if it's for the purposes of teaching you guys. So again, any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. May your RNG be kind and the desire sensor be blind. Goodbye for now, but not for long.